Hello and welcome to the Project Return online classroom. My name is Madison. I'm the program manager, and today I thought it would be fun if we could do some of the activities that were included in the art packets that went out this week. So one way that we've continued to provide services when we're not at the center is sending out art or activity packets. Usually they have, coloring pages, markers, colored pencils included with it. But this time around, I included something a little bit different, so I thought it would be a good idea to go over it, give you some tips that you can do to have fun with it with a new kind of medium. So in addition to the coloring pages, we also got some Scratchboard paper, which I know right now it looks like it's just a black piece of paper, but I promise it's a little different. And we also got some stencils. If you don't feel as comfortable with being expressive and just doing freehand lines, you also can use the stencils with it. And instead of using a pencil or a marker or any sort of other medium that we usually use, the only one you're really gonna need for this is just this wooden stick dowel. Now the cool thing is about Scratchboard is sometimes you see where it's just white underneath, so you can really play with having high contrast and making a really awesome black and white piece. But with these, it's fun because we have these bright colors that show up underneath, so it really can be something that you can make very colorful, be expressive with it. For mine, I cut mine in half so that I can make little bookmarks and still be something that I can utilize. And there's two different ways that I approached it that we're gonna finish up both of them today. So this one I was just messing around with the stencils that I had. Mine is smaller, so it's definitely interesting using the stencils since they're a little bit bigger, but we're gonna finish that one up today and I'll show you a little bit more on how we can use the stencils to create a really cool Scratchboard piece. And then for this one, I just kind of wanted to be more expressive and just do a more detailed design. So when we're talking about designs like this and freehand it, we can think of a few different things. We can think of our basic shapes that we talk a lot about. Squares, circles, triangles, and see how we can make some sort of design based off of those. Or we can use organic shapes. So they're not so straight and fundamental shapes that we're thinking of. It's more of like squiggly lines, curved lines, things that can be a little bit more free-flowing and expressive. So I would really encourage maybe doing a combination of both. So I might have maybe thought about a triangle or a square here, but then I added some other designs and didn't make it so, just square circle shape. So you can be really creative with doing something like that. If you did receive an art packet from us, there are a few of those sheets included, so definitely experiment, try a few different things, and see what kind of creativity you can get out of those hands of yours. So with that, let's get started and finish up the bookmark set.
So like I said in the beginning of the video, you're just going to be needing the Scratchboard paper, that wooden dowel, and I did start off with a brush to wipe off any excess, but to be honest, I ended up just kind of putting it off to the side and using my hand for most of the time anyways. I would suggest keeping your hand movements and your grip on the wooden dowel a little bit more loose. The thicker you want the line and the more of that black you want to see come up, you're going to press harder, but you still can get a really good look by pressing a little bit lighter and varying it up, and it's really easy to scrape away. So one thing I realized when I was going back and working over this is that when I had first started, I really was trying to get away all of that black and having these really, really bold lines come through. And I still liked the way that looked, but as I was working on it a little bit more, I actually really liked how it looked when I used shorter, more choppier lines and having that black come through. I felt like it gave it a lot more texture and made it look a little bit more interesting. And as you are continuing to scrape off that top layer, just make sure you're occasionally cleaning off any of that gunk that builds up on the end of your dowel. So I don't have too much of a plan for this one. I kind of had just started with seeing how I can do some borders and other textures. So looking at the stencils that I have, I noticed that I did have, some flower ones, and I thought I would add that to the top. I'm kind of just seeing what I can fit into my space and then improvising as I went along. I thought the sun would be a cute little thing to add, but then I still wanted to make sure that there were some other shapes, other things to make it a little bit more interesting. But once I started running out of space, I still wanted to fill it up a little bit more, so I went back to that technique I was doing on that last bookmark, using those short lines and really just using it to fill up the space around the shapes that I was going around. And I really like how it turned out, and it was a lot of fun. So I really did intend to fill up this black space here, but after I was kind of looking at it for a little bit, I decided it'd be better to just cut it off. I like how I had that border going down the side and how I had that one stencil piece in the corner, so I decided to make it a little bit thinner, clean up the edges, and then I was all done with both of my bookmarks. I was really happy with how these turned out, using still expressive lines on both, but following two different ways to go about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and that if you get a chance to play around with this, you just have fun and experiment and see what kind of pictures that you can come up with. Have a good day, guys. Bye.